Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. Hey guys, in this video, we're going to talk about the future of Canada. Is Canada going to become the 51st state of the US? Is Canada going to survive the tariffs? And what's going to happen with the economy of Canada? And what's going to happen with the political structures and the political leaders? Is there going to be a change in power in Canada this year? Which party is going to win the election that's coming up? We're going to talk about that today in this video. I did a poll a few weeks ago, and this was one of my most requested videos. And I know that a lot of people who watch my channel are from Canada. So we're going to talk about what's going to happen in that country today in this video. Now we have over here Canada's chart on one side of the screen, and on the other side we have the United States. So the first thing I want you to do is look down at the bottom to the essences and the personal year numbers for Canada. And first thing I will say is big changes are coming to your economy and coming to your politics, your leaders in 2025. As you can see, in 2022, there was a big shift for Canada because in 2022, it moved into a 5 essence. Okay, and the essence is basically how you experience the energy of the year from the inside out. Okay, it's like an internal feeling. Okay, but at the same time in 2022, it was having a 5 personal year also. Okay, and the personal year is how you experience the energy of the year from the outside in. Okay, it's everything coming at you from the outside. So a lot of 5 energy going on that year in 2022. And 5 is the number of freedom and change. And it can be a very rebellious energy, especially if it feels like its freedom is being taken away from it. And in 2022, that's when we saw all the protests starting to happen in Canada, okay? Right? The Freedom Convoy is what they called it. All of the truckers coming out in mass numbers to protest the COVID mandates that were being put into place, right? Because they felt like their freedoms were being taken away from them with this double 5 energy that year. But there was a big shift around that year because that's when Canada entered the 5 essence. And Canada is still in the 5 essence as of 2025, okay? It remains in the 5 essence. And that has big implications for Canada this year. Big implications because the personal year number that Canada is having is an 8 personal year. And 8 is the number of resources and power, and that includes money and politics, okay? So we're going to see some big changes happening to the economy of Canada this year because we see changes, with the 5 essence, number of change, happening to the 8 energy, the personal year number, which is money and the economy and the government. But we see the ball starting to roll in 2022, okay, because that's when people started to have this feeling within them that they wanted change within their country, or a feeling of wanting to have more freedom. But also around that time, they started to see changes, big changes happening within their country, okay, where the country just seems more different, right? It probably seems more different now than it was when, maybe when you were growing up, right? And that's because of this big shift into the 5 essence. But still in the 5 essence as of 2025 in an 8 personal year can be big changes to the economy. And this can be a destabilization of the economy, okay? Because 5 is a very unstable energy, okay? It's the least stable out of all of them. 5 and 9, I would say. They could be very unstable energies. And because 5 is a very exciting energy, okay? It's exciting, it's new, it's change, it's freedom. The opposite of consistency and stability, okay? What that means is that these tariffs that are coming through from the United States could cause a destabilization of the economy in Canada, where at least in the beginning, we see the prices of things increasing, or we see the economy kind of becoming unstable as a result of these. And I don't see Canada backing down right away. Okay, I see them because 5 is a very rebellious energy, and it's all about like, no, I want my freedom and I'm not going to be told what to do and that kind of thing. So I don't see Canada backing down, at least in the beginning. So because of that, we could see prices of things being affected and the economy in Canada being affected as a result. Okay, so it could be like a trade war basically happening. Now, I don't think this is going to last, okay, because remember, 5, this is a good thing about the 5 energy. It's a very unstable energy, but it burns out pretty fast, okay? It doesn't last, right? It's not consistent, so it does come to an end. So it could hurt Canada's economy and make it unstable, at least in the beginning, because they're not backing down when it comes to these tariffs. So, and I don't know how long this is going to last, okay? It could last all year, or it could just be a month or two, okay? But there will be some sort of an effect. But what will end up happening is there will be a deal that will be made between the United States and Canada, okay? As you can see, the United States in 2025 is in the energy of the 6th energy, okay? The 6th energy is the number of healing and fixing things. And it's the number of helping, nurturing. It's the helper energy. I'm here to help you. I'm here to heal myself, and I'm here to help you too. Even though it doesn't feel like that to the people living in Canada, right? It doesn't feel like that for sure. But 6 is also the number of personal responsibility, fixing yourself, standing up for yourself, and becoming your own parent. But and the U.S. is also in having a 2 personal year as well. And the 2 is the number of the partner, right? It's the number of partnership, making deals, having contracts, having collaborations. And I don't have his chart here, but U.S. President Donald Trump is also in a 2 essence and having a 2 personal year as well. Okay, this is the energy of making deals and partnerships. And I talk more about this in another video, which I will link below in the description box. And by the way, I have videos on how to calculate most of these numbers within your own chart. So if you want to find out what these numbers are for yourself, then check out some of those videos. I'm going to link them below in the description box as well. So what seems like some sort of a confrontation, a destabilization, a trade war, eventually comes to an end and leads to some sort of a deal and a partnership between Canada and US that ends up benefiting Canada greatly in the end, okay? What I'm being shown is prices coming down a lot, significantly coming down on certain items that are very expensive in your country. And what I'm being shown is US companies coming in or being allowed to come into the country a little bit more, which reduces the prices of some services and goods for you guys, okay? And I'm seeing Canada's economy greatly improving and flourishing as a result of this partnership, okay? With more jobs for the Canadians and lower prices, and I'm seeing the economy really taking off as a result of this, okay? It's going to be in a much better position than it is currently in 2025. And I'm being shown that both countries are going to greatly benefit from this alliance. So the US will greatly benefit as well. So it's a win-win situation for both countries. Now that could be coming down the pike a little bit later on, right? You might not see it right away, but the deal for it to happen gets made this year. So some sort of deal between the 2 countries is made this year, or the deal could be made next year in 2026, but it will be made. And eventually what will happen is other countries will be part of this as well. I see a partnership happening between the US, Canada, Australia, UK, a lot of these countries that had once been colonized by the UK. I see a partnership happening between them, some sort of trade partnership happening between all of these countries eventually. That's going to happen later on down the road, but in the beginning, this partnership will be formed between the United States and Canada. Okay, US and Canada, they're sister countries. They're sisters, right? And sisters get into fights sometimes, right? Every sister has a big fight, right? But the sisters always come back, and they always, they're friends forever. They're friends for life because they're blood, they're family. And that's the way that Canada and the US are. And the UK would be like the mom, right? It would be like the parent of the 2 of these countries. But they are siblings. So does that mean that Canada is going to become the 51st state of the US? No, I don't see that happening at all looking at these numbers, okay? Sisters are sisters, right? They're siblings. They will never be the same person, right? They're always going to have their own identity. And that will always be the case for Canada and the US. If anything, they will just eventually have a trade partnership that will continue to grow. Okay, and if you take a look at Canada's current pinnacle that it's in, okay, the pinnacles are like the seasons of your life, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And Canada is currently in a Master 11 pinnacle. And 11 is a variation of the number 2, okay? 1 plus 1 equals 2. And like I said, 2 is the number of partnership. And so they are more willing to work in collaboration and partnership with other countries because of this. And I do think other countries will come into this as well. So it won't just be the US and Canada at some point. So now another thing too is I do think that eventually Canada will become its own country completely, right? Because right now they are still part of the CommonWealth, right? Which is part of the United Kingdom. And I don't know when this will happen because I'd have to take a look at the numbers like far into the future, okay? But just looking at Canada's destiny number 6, and its maturity number 9, that tells me that at some point it will become its own country separate from the CommonWealth. Okay, and that's because with a destiny number 6, okay, 6 is the number of the parent, right? This is the helper. This is the healer. This is the person that is the parent and the person in charge, basically. It's a very parental energy. So with the destiny number 6, there is a destiny to be responsible, completely responsible for yourself, right? To become, like you're the parent, you're the person in charge. And then also with the maturity number 9, and 9 being another super responsible energy where you're kind of like responsible for the planet, right? It's like a humanitarian energy. And the maturity is who you become as you grow older. So as Canada moves forward into the future, they're going to become more like the 9 energy. And with the Destiny 6, they're going to want to be completely 100% responsible for themselves at some point in time, okay? So, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but that will happen eventually. I think they've got along with it this whole time because they're not in a rebellious energy like the US, right? The US has a rebellious life path number, being a life path number 5, the number of freedom, and the US is also in a 1 pinnacle too, and 1 is a very rebellious energy. It's the number of independence. But we are starting to see more rebellious energy coming out of Canada right now because of them moving into the 5 essence as of 2022. So, I mean, hey, look, 2026, they're having a 5 essence and a 9 year. 9 is a number of graduation and endings, conclusion. So, hey, maybe that could be the year where, they leave the CommonWealth. I mean, it's possible with the 5 and the 9 combination, totally possible. I have a feeling it's going to be later on down the road. So probably not going to happen in 2026, but it is a possibility with the 5 and the 9 combination. Okay, because that's big, significant transformation happening for Canada in 2026. Okay, so you're going to see that country significantly changing in the next year, 2026, too, where you might not even recognize it anymore, okay? But I do think some of these changes could come as a result of these tariffs and eventually a future partnership between the US and Canada. Now, I also think big changes are coming to Canada also because we're seeing changes happening to their leadership and politics as well, okay? Because 8, remember, they're having an 8 year. 8 is also power. It's money, resources, but it's also power too. So that involves politics and political leaders. So we see change happening in that area also. So I know that elections are happening this year in Canada, but I don't know exactly when those are because I've heard some places say it's October, and then I've heard other places say that it's going to be April now. So let me know in the comments below when your elections are happening because I might do a separate video looking at the leaders of the different parties that are running, okay? And I did want to say about that just don't expect the unexpected is what I'm saying for your elections because the 5 is a very surprising energy, right? It's a number that brings in change. So even if one party is polling higher right now, okay, it might not be what you expect. there might be a surprise where the party that isn't polling as high ends up winning. Okay, and we've seen surprises happening right away when it comes to politics, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau suddenly resigning at the beginning of the year, right? And that was a huge surprise to the entire country regarding politics. So there could be some other surprises that happen this year too. And we know that change is coming to power, right? Because of the 5 and the 8 combination, there is some change coming. So what that means is that whatever party is in power right now, and I believe that it says here that the Liberal Party is in power, right? They could be switched out for the other party that is polling behind them, which is the Conservative Party. Or it could be another party that ends up winning, okay? But either way, them getting switched out would be a big surprise to the country, and it would bring a big change to the country, okay? 'Cause it looks like they've been in power for a while now, and they are polling ahead right now as well. Okay. And we see that coming in 2026, like I said, massive transformation, and that could be starting as a result of what happens this year. But let me know in the comments below what you think will end up happening in Canada. What are your predictions? And let me know if you are from Canada, okay? Because we love Canada, and I love my Canadian subscribers and viewers. So let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit the like button and share it with other people to help get this information out there, okay? Because we want to help as many people as we can, and I spend a lot of time on these videos for you guys. So thank you so much for all of your support. I love every single one of you, and I would love to have you subscribe and to become part of the family. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can head on over to my website, starsalignwithcarmen.com. You could also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.